Find insight, guidance, and answers. Tune into Spirit with radio medium Laura Lee.
Hey, welcome back. I'm here with you to share a very important Spirit message for one of my listeners. And today, Rebecca wrote in. She says, my son and I own a unit in an apartment building. It is his home. There have been many issues. The assistant general manager sees fees increasing substantially. My son cannot afford the increases, and I'm tired of dealing with it. But I don't want to waste all the hard work and expense by making the wrong decision. My son is not financially savvy. I will likely vote against the budget, but I want to figure out what to do in the long term so things work out for both of us. Thanks, Rebecca. Dear Rebecca, your question isn't clear-cut, and I know things are challenging out there for a lot of people, especially our children who are struggling. But I understand there's a father figure associated to your son. Maybe this is a partner to you, his father, or your father. But he's telling me there's always options available. And let me share what I received from him. Sometimes we got to seek within to find the answers. And one of the key indicators in your question was that you're tired. And you're tired is an intuitive signal that's telling you it's time you got to let go. While your son lives independently, he's a grown-up where you are managing his finances. He will never learn to manage his finances as long as you hold the reins. God forbid something happens to you. He'd be forced out and either sink or swim. And most often, they'll swim. And by the way, that was not a prediction. I would suggest having a heart-to-heart conversation with your son, if you haven't already, about how this is weighing on you, especially after the loss of your partner. It is time your son grows up to be a man. Sometimes it's hard to notice or recognize we're standing in a forest between the trees and it's dark. And that's because all of you are grieving. It's still hard for you to navigate the family challenges without your loved one standing there by your side. But he is. And here's some of the suggestions that I'm receiving that might help you open your mind to some of the possibilities that you can do to support your son. For instance, have your son consider a roommate to help cover the additional expenses. Second, you could suggest that your son bring in more money, get another job in order to support the additional cost. The third option would possibly be sell the unit and find your son affordable housing. And finally, perhaps enroll your son into financial management classes so he learns about money while he's living in your home. I have one more suggestion, and that is sometimes we've just got to hand it over to your husband, hand the unit over to him, suggesting that he manage it from the heavens above and finding a solution that maybe you haven't even thought about that could arise that's a benefit to both you and your son. The funny thing I always discover is when I finally hand over some of my biggest challenges, miracles can happen. Blessings can occur when we finally surrender and allow a higher power to intervene on our behalf. When we get to that point, we're exhausted by the stress and overthinking the process. It just means it's time we got to make a shift and we just got to hand it over. If you have a question for me you'd like to answer, go over to Facebook Radio Medium Laura Lee group, and you can submit a question there. If I choose it, I'll answer it right here on air, or you can go directly to my website at radiomediumlauralee.com, and under services, there's an option there for you to submit a question privately, and I look forward to hearing from you.